as far as mainstream versus special education, that kind of thing?
Right. That's a really hard question. If you ask a deaf person, because I have, I've asked that question, they say they prefer to go to deaf school.
Mm-hmm.
Why? So they can get their culture. Because most deaf are born to hearing people.
Mm-hmm.
90% are born to hearing people. Excuse me. Um, so they don't get their culture from their mom and dad, like most cultures. So it's unique. It's different. Um, so most of the time, mom and dad do not learn sign. That's
Really?
not that's not normal. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but that's what happens because when the baby is born, they find out pretty early if they're deaf,
Mm-hmm.
normally anyway. Um, so so they grieve. They're sad. They're upset. They've never met another deaf person, probably, or maybe they've met the deaf person that's going and saying, "I'll give you this book. You give me $5." They've probably never met a deaf professional who has a wonderful life and can do whatever they want. They have plenty of money and all of that, the normal life. And then they go to the doctor because they don't know who else to talk to. And the doctor says, let's fix it. So then they do the cochlear implant and they're told, don't, don't sign, only talk. So the deaf person doesn't learn their language. Whether you have a cochlear or not, that's another situation. But that that person is still deaf.
Mm-hmm.
Those batteries, they die. So they need to learn their language. No matter cochlear, hearing aid, whatever, they need to learn ASL. If you think about it, you have the dinner table, everybody's sitting around it, and everyone is having a conversation, maybe two conversations at the same time. If you have one deaf person, they're lost. And in the beginning, they try, they really, really try, but then they give up and they just become isolated,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have family friends. They don't understand. Um, no, 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 no. So it's the isolation starts at home, and then it just continues and continues and continues in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when they go to deaf school, sorry, um, that's where they find their community and their culture, and they feel at home. When you have kids go to public school, it gets hard because they're put in special ed and they don't need that. Um, they just need communication. That's only what they need. But they don't have that community in public school. But if I was a parent of a deaf child, I don't know that I'd want my child to live 2 hours away from me and let someone else teach my child what they need to learn to be a good person,
Mm-hmm.
because they live there at the school.
Right.
So it's a struggle, and they have to figure out what's best for their family.
Yeah. It makes sense. We met a family, a mother and her kids, and she
Hmm.
had, through our charity, who was looking for a service animal.
Hmm.
And her daughter was, what, 9, 10 years old, deaf, didn't
Hmm.
speak, and her mother didn't know sign language.
Yep, that's normal.
and it really shocked me that that they hadn't even because I was just trying to say hello, because my sign language is very basic, and I was just trying to say hi, and the daughter didn't even know what I was saying, which really shocked me because I was expecting, at least at her age, that she would be able to communicate, and she didn't. She didn't read lips. She didn't sign. She didn't speak.
And what I named that is, well, it doesn't matter, but her brain is going dead because she's not using it because they can't reach her brain because they don't know how to communicate. So that's the problem with a lot of deaf is when they don't communicate with others, then their brain just goes down. If you don't use it, you lose it. And I've seen that many times where a child can learn but doesn't, and then when they're adults, they have no education. So then they are living on SSI or mom and dad because they can't do it themselves because they have no skills because they weren't taught.
Yeah, and then I also thought was interesting is Brandon. He goes to Campbell University here on base, and they actually provided interpreters as part of their program, so that he had so it was really nice that he had a classmate who was able to participate, and Brandon goes, he went up to the interpreters. He goes, do you mind if I just observe? He goes, I don't want to stare and like I'm listening in on your conversation.
It's fun.
And they go, oh no, it's okay. And he goes, so if I don't know what something is, can I come up and ask you what it is? And so he was picking up a little bit here and there, and he loved it. And he actually made a friend with his classmate as a result of that.
I love Gideon. It was Gideon, right?
Yeah, it was Gideon.
Yeah. He is the best with being friends with hearing people. He is the best at that. Not all deaf are good at that, but Gideon is so good at welcoming people into his space and teaching them just a little bit at a time sign, but he will force you to sign to him, which is funny because when I'm at a silent dinner, the hearing people will come and say, will you sign for me? Because I don't understand or I don't know. And I'm like, I'll try. We'll see. And he'll go, nope, they have to do it. Because the struggle is important. When you struggle, that's really when you learn.
Yeah, he really enjoyed it that I at least had some basic sign language that I could greet him, I could say thank you, and hold a little bit of conversation. And then whatever I couldn't sign, the translators, of course, stepped in for me. Interpreters, sorry. They would step in for me, and but at the same time, he knew that I was watching them, so I could pick up the signs.
Right. Yeah. The difference between a translator and an interpreter, a translator, what they do is it's direct. It's word for word what that other person is saying in that language. An interpreter has to interpret what's being said and then change it into the other language. That's the difference. Because ASL is not English on my hands. That's what most people think. It is not. It's a picture of what is happening. It's not the words to what's happening. So it's much more direct, and it's so less. We use so many words to say what we mean, versus they are just very blunt, and it's done. It takes them 2 seconds to say what takes us 5 minutes. I love the language because it's just very blunt and straight to the point. Did I lose you? Are you there?
Oh, there you are.
Are you there? With codes switching, it's what a person has to do when they're talking to like a deaf person. I have to behave one way, and then when I'm talking to a hearing person, my switch should happen. I have a very hard time with that though. Sometimes I like to just stay in the deaf world, and I don't realize it. I have a hard time sometimes working with people because I'm so blunt.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to hurt people's feelings when I don't mean to. It's not my what I'm trying to do. I just I kind of push away the niceties because you really don't have that in the deaf world, um, or in the deaf world. Sorry, it's just really blunt.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Just absolutely love it. It's so much easier.
Well, that's really all the questions that I had. But I really appreciate you taking the time to help answer my questions about the culture and everything.
Oh, you're fine. I hope I did. I give you the information that you wanted.
Yes.
I'm hoping.
Yes. Thank
Okay,
you.
good.
Okay.